one of my divers here. Where's he at now? We're running out of time here. We can't give you any slack. Hang in there, buddy. Bridge, got to get us back over there.
Topaz, Aberdeen Marine Control. What's your position? Over.
Aberdeen Control, we are 64 miles northeast of you. Heading for all field block 22/14B. Over.
Thank you, Topaz. Update 1 on job. Over.
Boring. Oh yeah, Rob, how you doing? Sorry. Yeah, good mate. Yeah, hey, Holly. Good, thanks. Yeah. Sorry. It's I'm alright. Wanted a bit of a courtesy. Good morning. Hospital was worth having. That's Jimmy Kyle from the Black Isle. I'll have to edit this one out. So I'm not looking to make up pretty Spartan. So what I'm about to show you is obviously going to dispel that, unfortunately, because behind me is a bona fide sauna. Behind door number 2, believe it or not, sunbed.
When Christopher went offshore, we enjoyed sending videos to one another.
We've got a new calf on the cross today, isn't it beautiful? That's the big news from home. Hi, guys.
It gave us a little part of each other we could share in each other's lives while we were apart. And it reassured us that we were both happy.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Lemon.
It was a really, really exciting time in our life.
You get the little thing. Gorgeous.
We were due to be married in April of that year. We were building a house at that time too.
Enjoying that?
And I had started a new job as the head teacher of the local primary school. We had so many plans for the future. It was wonderful.
Running, so alright. 6 lads living in there, but looks like the lights are all off in there. What you can actually see on the outside there is the little camera they used to monitor us, and that's plugging into the toilet so you can watch us have a shower.
I had a good understanding of Christopher's work. All of these tunnels, gases and depths. Christopher often described it as going into space but underwater.
Nice to see you. Yeah. 28 days. Yeah, thanks mate, yeah. So this is the month of truth when we get on board, when we check the board to see who we're going to be in Southwick, because that can pretty much make or break your trip, and that's the 2 other people you're going to spend the next month with, Team Clouds. And same time as me, yeah, Team 3, Lemons, Dave US and Duncan all got okay.
Dave US and you? Maybe got Mark. Hi guys. Hi. Some people that you got on great with, other people that you don't get on well with, and no one wants to be with at all. Duncan, I knew very well. I've worked with him over the years quite a few times. He's got a very good reputation on the boat.
You do have to be a certain breed to work in an RC. Slightly unhinged, a little bit abnormal. Don't have problems, they have solutions. Certainly the guys that I've worked with are one of a kind. Dave's a very cool guy. He doesn't get stressed, he doesn't get anxious. Very, very logical. He keeps himself to himself.
I'm not Dave at work or being particularly emotional person. I think Vulcan is how you people describe me. Chris is relatively new. I've not dived with him, but I think he dived with Duncan quite a few times, and Duncan was his stepdaddy. That sounds weird now, I said it out loud, eh?
I was there for Chris's first time, and then we did 4 starts in a row after that together. The bond together, that is massive. I got to know him very, very well. He was a very amiable guy.
I had a little word with Duncan and said, what is this Christian guy like? And I got the thumbs up and I was happy for him.
That's control, we're 6 hours away from the job.
It is now currently suffering from an aches and pains, bruising joints, of the skin, no translation.
Hello boys. Obviously as you can see there's not a huge deal of space. Probably only half a foot or so between the bunks down here. Dunk's in there getting his ready, and then this is the living end. Got sort of benches and a bit of a table. One of the very few portholes we've got, so that's pretty much the only sight of the outside world that you have. So I've got to crawl through these little tunnels to get from place to place. And down this way is what we call the wet pot. So I just push that door open. Basically the toilet and the shower room, so various ablutions and that kind of thing. Yeah, if I stand my full height, there's absolutely everything can knock my head on. It's a real pain for me. That's why all sort of gashes all over me.
And the magic of it is, once you've done the full circuit, you're back to where you started. And a cup of tea. Yeah.
Miami chocolate stash.
That's ridiculous, Duncan. How much have you got in there?
Just a bar for every day.
A bar for every day.
I've already started just to check them out. Yeah.
Ready, we'll go for blowdown. Okay, lads, we'll stop and check the leaks. On this particular job, we were working at 100 metres. So they pump into the chamber the equivalent pressure of 100 metres of water in helium. It's a mix of helium and oxygen. And then we are effectively at an equal pressure to the seabed.
We'll continue with the blowdown.
As soon as you get a breath of helium gas, you start speaking with a squeaky noise. The first 30 seconds is always quite humorous. After that, the novelty wears off.
Okay, lads, we've reached it. Blowdown over.
Before I got into SAF diving, I always kind of looked at the North Sea as the premiership of diving. There's a lot of DSVs there, there's a lot of diving going on there. And this particular job, the field we were working at was about 12 hours steam away from Aberdeen. So that puts you pretty much in the middle of the North Sea. The North Sea can be unpredictable and the weather wasn't very good at the time. The boat was moving around a fair bit.
The North Sea is definitely one of the most dangerous environments in the world. The water temperature is 4 degrees on the seabed, which is a killer.
I realise there's dangers in the job, I realise that. But Chris had reassured me continually that he would be safe, that he wasn't in harm's way. I thought that he was happy in his saturation tank. So no, I didn't ever worry.
Aberdeen control, this is Topaz. Over.
Go ahead, Topaz. Over.
We are on live oil field block 22/14B. Holding here to start work immediately. Over and out.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, everything is on 0. 1, 4, 5, 6 running.
Okay, default thrusters in DP mode.
F2 GPS is selected for reference systems. Yep.
Okay, Captain, we are on DP now.
Okay, boys, 5 minutes notice to getting in the bell.
Well, the divers are my puppets. I'm the conductor of a small band. They are my hands and my feet, and they essentially do what I ask them to do. When the diver's in the water, I am the most important person on the vessel, and everyone will defer to me.
Okay, first man entering the bell.
Duncan was the bellman. He wouldn't be diving at me. He'd be in the bell, looking after the divers. Dave Uasso was diver 1, and Chris Lemons was diver 2.
Bridge, that's bell off the system at 2013. Okay, boys, taking me down now. Bell left surface at 2021. Thank you, ROV. Coming through now. Reach working depth of 90 meters.
When you're lifting the helmet onto the diver's head, you look into their eyes. You can then see if the diver's happy or frightened out of his wits, because you can see more white than eyes. At no point that evening was Chris anxious. He was raring to go. He wanted to prove that he was as good as everybody else.
Bridge, that's diver 2 in the water at 20:37. That's you on onboard gas, Chris. Duncan, 10, diver 2, umbilical.
When the diver is out of the bell, he is completely reliant on his umbilical. It gives him his hot water, which he needs to keep him warm. Gives him gas to breathe, and also lighting and communication with the surface. It is literally your lifeline.
Diver 2, that's you cleared to drop off the bell.
Dropping off the bell is one of my favourite parts of diving. I love the feeling of weightlessness. You're effectively flying down to the seabed. If your visibility is bad, you really don't know what you're dropping into, or when you're going to be landing. It's a dark and confusing place to be on the seabed. It can be extremely easy to get lost.
Diver 2, the job should be 30 meters to your northwest.
The umbilical is your physical tether to the boat. And if you ever need to get back to the bell, you will follow your umbilical. That's your route back to safety.
In the dark, it's almost harder to get to the job than to do the job. The seabed plays tricks on you. The first 10 minutes is quite a stressful time. I notice it in their breathing.
Bridge, both divers on the job at 20:49.
The structure we're working on is called a manifold. Inside there, you've got a number of wells. The oil will come up out of the ground, and from there it gets piped off to a platform. The job in hand was going to be to remove a piece of pipework, and we were going to float in a new piece into its place.
when you're working with divers, you are almost reaching through the screen and turning the knobs for them. You do get emotionally involved with them. You feel their successes and failures in the water.
Once you've got your divers on the job, as bellman you can relax a bit more. See what I've got in my sandwiches for half time. There's never a day I go to work and don't enjoy it. My first inspirations for diving were definitely from watching Jacques Cousteau on the TV and thinking that is exactly what I would like to do. Visiting coral reefs, swimming along with all the animals. It just looked absolutely superb. It was a dream for me to be a diver and go under the sea.
And, keep working. All right, go ahead.
Christopher came to diving a little bit later in life. He was looking for direction.
So we're reading nosing.
Diving was something that he was extremely passionate about. I would never have considered asking Christopher to take a different career path. Never. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he was passionate about. If I was as passionate about a job like that as Christopher was, then I wouldn't want anyone to stop me, so I definitely wouldn't stop him.
That night the weather was not good. It was an 18-foot swell, 35 knots of wind. We were on the limits of diving. It wasn't unbalanced.
The weather was strong. Not seeing
got to that stage, it was a sailboat. I was surprised at how quickly the ship moved. It rapidly picked up speed. Because we had no control over the ship, we had no control over what was happening on the bottom.
Divers were still connected to the
Instruct diver. The more the scenario which you're on diving, the more better can expect.
When we came out of the expecting about speed, basically touching me over here. I could tell from the very much. In fact, it was down behind me, and you can manifold the shelf in between.
They had to climb their umbilicals up the side of the structure, traverse across the top, and climb their umbilicals back to the bell, to their safe haven. But the structure was the obstacle that they had to clear.
Onto the structure, boys.
When I was nearly at the top, I noticed that Chris didn't seem to be going any further. I could tell something was wrong.
Chris had a loop of umbilical wrapped around Southcroft. He was trapped. It was long by 20 meters wide, being pushed by 35 knots of wind, and Chris was our anchor on the other end. I didn't see a scenario where he was going to get out of this.
Chris's umbilical went so tight that it actually started pulling his stainless steel umbilical rack off the wall. I was shitting myself. I was literally waiting for the inevitable just to all go through the hole in the floor, and if I got between it and the hole, I would be going out with it.
Chris, you've got to clear that umbilical yourself.
I'm trying to make my way back to Chris to help him. We're maybe less than 2 meters apart. The visibility is good enough that we can look into each other's faces. I can see that he's in trouble. But that's now me at the end of my umbilical. And I can't catch him. His umbilical is getting thinner. You can hear it creaking. It's the noise that something makes before it breaks. As I was getting pulled away from Chris, it was almost like watching a film. And that was the last picture of me. And I could hear his umbilical ripping. A few strands in the umbilical broke one by one.
I've lost all eyes on the job.
There was nothing I could do now to help Chris. There was no way of getting back to him. I turned around and started coming back to the bell. There's a lot of resistance. It felt like I was climbing back through a river. I don't think I was thinking too hard about the tragedy that was unfolding. At that point, my priority was to get back to the bell and look after my own safety. I'm worried that maybe I'm going to get pulled into another structure down there. And I knew that if I got caught up in one of them, it would have made a very, very bad situation a lot worse.
I was hoping I was pulling Chris in, but in my heart of hearts I knew I wasn't. I knew there was nothing on the end. Hot water hose came in first, broken and tattered at the end. And I had another couple of wraps of umbilical to pull in before a broken end of his gas hose came in. Now that is making quite an immense noise. I put my hand on the regulator to turn it off. You never, ever turn a diver's gas off when he's in the water. It's tantamount to killing him. I did feel as though I was letting Chris down. That was the end of his lifeline to the bell. I could have cried at that point. I didn't know what to be sick, cry, whatever. I just shouted, "I've lost my diver, I've lost my diver." And I didn't know what was happening today, so I had to be sensible and put myself back together.
I got back onto the stage, underneath the bell, and I waited there. That's when I had a little bit more time to think about what had happened and what was going to happen. In air diving, you've always got the option of being able to swim up to the surface, but in sat diving, the only place you can go, literally the only place you can go, is the bell. Normally you're connected to the bell by your umbilical, but he's got no umbilical. The bell isn't anywhere near him. He's got no options at all.
I knew he was out there on his own, and all he had was his 2 bailout bottles.
If we lost our main supply in an emergency, we would have enough gas in the bottle on our back to get back to the bell. It's not designed to keep you on the seabed for any length of time.
There's no other gas he can get to. He's limited to what's in his bailout bottles. And they're not that big. It is literally 5 minutes.
we had a time-critical window to get back and recover Chris. So I got everybody up. We need every mind focused in case we miss anything.
I was in the next team that was supposed to go diving, and the life support supervisor came on the comms quite serious and he said, "Stu, I've got a problem." I said, "Well, does that make it my problem or is it just your problem?" And he came back with, "We've left a diver on the manifold. We're going to set in the medical gear. You're the diver medic. Just go and get ready." There's always several diver medics in saturation. You have to have one in each team. Usually it's cuts and phrases. I was scared because this was something that was so out of our normal working routine. You don't want to have to be involved in something like that. That's not going to end well.
The situation was desperate, and we're still out of control, drifting away from Chris. The computers that control the dynamic positioning weren't operational. They were redundant, all three of them. The computer that was running the DP had failed. The backup, which ghosted all the time, had failed. And the master computer had failed as well. So you have a situation where the impossible has happened. The vessel could not be controlled using the computer.
We are just drifting. We have to try to get back control. Captain decides to take computer out of the loop and use fully manual system. This system is designed to use in a harbor when you don't have waves, wind is not too much.
The bridge crew had to learn how to control the ship with 4 thruster handles.
Problem is that they are installed on two consoles.
One man doesn't have 4 hands. No one ever anticipated having to do this.
I never saw a captain and chief officer doing this before. Sometimes it was going very well. And there was coming one big wave. It was changing our heading again.
Bridge, you've got to get us back over there.
They want us to be there quickly, but we are doing what we can do.
In saturation, you start to get a bit of a sixth sense for your particular vessel, the sounds it makes. The engines are thrust into the head.
The boat was moving around in quite an erratic way. It was moving from side to side, and that was quite a ride in itself.
I was constantly trying to calm myself down. I knew Chris. I knew Laura. I was wondering how we're going to explain it to her. We went on the dive and he never came back. Yeah, I wasn't contained, I think.
Even though I can force out, he's run out of gas. I have to believe that Chris was still alive and recovering. First, it has to be declined. The ROV was the only tool I had at the time. It was just functioning. And the ROV could swim in the water 150, 200 meters away from the ship without too much problem. Heading construction. There was lots to face the possibility. But we didn't know whether or not Chris was on top of the structure beside us, or the sea down below.
It was very long feeling when this ROV was flying. It was explained to me that it was an idea to give Chris some time if we are coming back. So he can find extra energy, power to stay alive.
It was getting closer and closer, and I remember staring at the ROV screen black and white, asking, can anyone see anything? We willed that structure to appear. Then it appeared. The ROV technician said, Craig, he's all right. And I said, how do you know that? And he said, he's waving at me.
Before we arrived at ROV, I was sure that we recovered him. After this, I didn't know. You have to remember that that's not just some person. That's the human you know who was sitting next to you, passing on the corridors.
One hand for the ship at all times.
He was coming to the bridge sometimes.
Never, I think so.
Now you can see him absolutely alone.
A lot of people were shocked with the image. But I took a massive boost out of that. One, he was on top of the structure, which was crucial for his recovery. Then he was twitching. He was still alive. Didn't have DP control of the vessel. We were moving back to the structure manually, which was very difficult. The ship didn't seem to be making progress as quickly as we thought, and everything was slowing down in time. Slowly but surely, the twitching would stop. And in my mind's eye, that was the final phase for Chris. Some couldn't face the reality. They didn't want to be involved in a situation that would be a very dark time. I think all those thoughts are starting to run through people's minds. What happens next?
After 25 minutes, we couldn't really find anything to grasp. We were sure that it was going to be a body recovery.
It was odd being on the bow, thinking about what had happened. I don't remember being particularly upset about Chris. Shit happened. He wasn't my best mate. He wasn't one of my kids. It was a diving job and it had gone wrong.
Started praying as hard as I could. I'm not a religious person at all, but in moments like that, but at no point did I allow myself to think that we were going to get him back. Definitely not. There was no way where I was going to go home and explain tomorrow that Chris wasn't coming back.
We tried everything to get the DP system back online. We never had first option and last option. We never had checklist what to do step by step in case of problem like this. It was more like brainstorm and trying everything we can try. One of the last options was to do hard reset. There was nothing else what we can do. And we wait.
We've got to get a good card soon. You know, we pulled all the bad cards out. We've got to start getting some luck now.
lucky for us.
He just back online.
Oh, amazing to be with you. It was much credit from everyone on the group.
As soon as he was back online and we put that in the outer wall, you can move straight back to it.
That's making your life.
Now we were making new progress. We were getting closer and closer.
My adrenaline's still flowing. I want to get it done. I kept asking, are we nearly there yet?
Dave was keen to go. I remember holding him back.
Duncan, take up all of the slack.
It's like having a dog on a leash. Until I give him some slack, he can't go anywhere.
Craig was telling me, you've got 50 meters to run. 30 meters to run. 20 meters to run. I could see the lights of the ROV. I could see Chris. I wasn't surprised by what I saw. That dead guy on the roof of the manifold. I knew that it was going to be hard to get back to the bell. The dead weight of Chris was very heavy. The boat was moving up and down. But I'm there to do my job and do what I'm told to do. I wasn't thinking this is Chris Lemon. This is the guy who's building a house. This is the guy who's engaged to be married. He's a thing that needs to be taken from one place to another.
I tried not to think Chris was dead. Possibly deep down, I had a thought he might have been. I gave him 2 deep breaths. I am just hoping with everything I've got that I can bring him round, that I am going to make him breathe again. It's very hard to communicate to people quite what I went through and what I felt. It's a time that I reflect on quite a lot. I often try and put myself back in that position, jog my own memory or try and recreate what happened, because I have the same questions. There was very, very violent bang. And then there was instant silence. But I had to make a decision. I couldn't stand there. I had to choose a direction. It came down essentially to put luck from there on. Straight into the structure. It was 11 meters above me, the platform that I needed to be on. The diving bell above me. There was nothing. I was completely alone. I've probably got 5 or 6 minutes in this bailout. I must have used it for 2 or 3 minutes getting myself up here to the top. Even if the diving bell had been directly above me, it would have taken the remainder of the gas that I had left on my back just to get back there if I was lucky. So at that point, once you've calmed and done the maths, you realise that your chances of getting out of this are almost non-existent. The cold is something I don't have any recollection of feeling. doesn't make much sense, really. I knew we'd got him. He was going to live. I was just so elated. At that point, I didn't know if he had any brain damage. I didn't know if he'd be the same Chris. I didn't know if he'd ever speak again. But I knew he was breathing. He was alive. And he got stronger with every breath. I can remember flashing lights. Something wasn't quite as it should be. It was very reassuring to see Duncan. He's been a bit of a father figure to me in many ways throughout my career. It's very comforting to see a friendly face.
I decided that he was more than likely dead. I think I'd started to come to terms with the fact that he was dead and that we'd recovered a body. I got into the bell. I could see Chris sat down there, and he was definitely not dead. That was very confusing.
I remember asking him.
You alright, buddy?
And he said, yeah. He seemed fine. It was an extraordinary moment. A lot of people were relieved. Obviously for Chris's sake. But also for their own personal well-being. They didn't want to be involved in a diving fatality, and now they weren't.
I remember almost feeling a little bit pissed off with him, in the same way that if you have a child that wanders off and they're not meant to, and you're frantically looking for them, when you do find them, as well as the relief that you've also got a little bit of anger. Because they've put you through something. It's been quite traumatic. It wasn't until I went and had a shower that I realised how exerted I must have been. I remember trying to wash my hair in the shower, and my hands were cramping up, and my hands were like claws, my fingers were stuck. And that's when I thought, no, I've worked hard today.
Down on the bottom door. Alright. Dave, I'll come and talk to you later. Thanks for your help. Yep.
I couldn't have felt more proud of myself and Dave that day for what we achieved in that bell.
I did my job, and I would expect nothing less. And the divers did their jobs, and the bridge crew did their jobs. Everyone did their job, so you don't pat yourself on the back for that. You turned up that day, and that's what you get paid for.
Last man leaving the boat.
Dave and Duncan, they'd done enough. It was our job to look after him from that point on. I, for one, couldn't believe we'd got away with it. I couldn't believe that he was just we're gonna warm him up, put a tea cozy on his head, and he's gonna be good to go. That was incredible to me. I can remember after everything had calmed down, we were doing hourly checks, and I thought he was kind of just not dozing quite, but he was relaxing. And it was the only... I have to do that one again. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. The only time I ever felt serious, I was just halfway through taking his pulse. And he just kind of looked over at me and said, "Stuart, you know it's okay." I said, "Yeah, I know you're okay, yeah." He said, "No, it's okay. I was just drifting off to sleep, you know. I was kind of sad for a bit, but then I was cold and I got a bit numb, but it was like falling asleep. It's not that bad." That was the only time that anything really got emotional for me in that point. Was it kind of hit home that he had basically he decided he was going to die. He's trying to tell me to die is okay, and that really got to me.
How I survived is a very good question. I don't think I will ever really know. I always assumed that the lowering of my body temperature effectively shut me down and allowed me to survive on what minimal oxygen remained in my system. Also, I'm fairly certain that the high levels of oxygen which we carry in our emergency breathing gas saturated my tissues effectively with oxygen and allowed my organs to keep functioning even though I had nothing left to breathe. These are all theories though. Beyond that, I'm still waiting for someone to give me the right answer. I'm not sure I'll ever know.
I received that phone call that everyone dreads. Your whole world falls apart. Just kept picturing him lying there on the bottom of the ocean, helpless. It's always, you know, when it happens to something like that happens to someone that you love. I couldn't get that image out of my head. It didn't matter that he was speaking to me and telling me he had survived. I needed to physically touch him and see him.
It dawned on me that we're going to be okay. We're going to be able to realise those hopes and dreams and live our life together.
Chris, don't fuck it up this time.
Roger that.